I really tried my best. After spending multiple days failing to make a successful running house and in the end just placing him on a treadmill, which to be honest with you I don't know if I consider to be a fail, this thing's absolutely hilarious, I concluded that the next video I made would have to be a regular Minecraft redstone video, no create in sight. And yet here we are, with a bunch of cogs and mechanical things in my creative mode inventory, and a plan that honestly is so stupid that I'm almost embarrassed to say it. I want to make a dirt hut transformer, okay? I want this little thing right here, this very traditional Minecraft dirt hut, to transform into the thing that is just off the screen to my right, where I've planned out what I want this thing to look like. These were some of my early tests. This one, not so good, but you get the picture. You know, this is Transformers Dirt Hut Edition. Michael Bay, my DMs are open. That's something I never thought I'd say. So here is our little dirt hut. I've tried my best to make it at least a tiny bit fancy by adding some decoration in here, and that's also going to help with the look of our transformer. As you can see on the inside of this thing, there isn't really much going on, and we currently have no roof. Get out of here, cow, I'm learning. Right, so I'm hoping that this thing works how I imagine it does. So it's called a sticker, and, oh, okay. Okay, so it works on pulses. Okay. We can work with that. Now, I want to make it clear, I kind of have a plan of action for the head and the legs. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with the arms, but in traditional fashion, I'm going to worry about that when it actually comes to it. Now, let's see if I can remember how to make this guy's face. I think it's something like this, and then blocks in the middle, and then those will be eyes, and then maybe this? No, that seems wrong. I've made a skeleton. This is the look that I was going for, but I'm not mad at the one that I created. Now, looking back, it was way worse. So we've got the guy's face, and I've also got this little system right here, which is going to be the thing that allows us to move the face up and then hopefully attach it to the body. I've also now got a pair of legs down at the bottom as well, but currently he's looking quite compressed. I mean, it's difficult not to laugh. I mean, it just looks like he's got a tiny body. This is literally Stone Bob Sticky Pants. But if we pop out to the outside here, the plan is that the head gets pushed all the way through up to the top. So the head is now above the build. And then at this point, the legs detach from the head, and the head attaches to this part here, which is going to be the body. Okay, this whole thing is going to be the body. And then the body and the head get pushed upwards, leaving the legs down at the bottom. So it should be quite a cool looking sequence if it works. And there's a heavy emphasis on whether or not it's actually going to work. What are you looking at, mate? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought! Apologies, just sometimes villagers make me mad. There are a couple of things that I haven't thought of. The first thing is that there would have been a hole underneath this contraption, so I've had to put some blocks underneath the feet, but now I can't push up with a piston onto this bit here, so I guess we could potentially pull up from the bottom, and then when the legs reach full height, I guess we could push the house up using pistons out the back. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, because I don't know what I'm talking about. So I imagine we should be able to pull everything up, making use of this pulley right here. It's attached to the block down at the bottom, so everything should be moved upwards. Well, that totally broke. It didn't even move at all, so I've re-glued everything. Hopefully that makes a difference. And I'm just going to try moving it by one block with this mechanical piston. Okay, well, I mean, alright. There is something clear that has happened here, which is these are not stuck to one another, but hopefully with that now stuck in place, yes, it is moving as one. This is excellent news. Time to do a full-scale test. The pulley is in place, and if I speed this up to be positive, the head should gradually move through the build. We might need to go a tiny bit faster than that. That is quite slow, but I do want to see this happen because it seems like it'll be quite interesting. Okay, so this is what we're going to see popping out the top of our dirt hut. I mean, that is pretty cool, isn't it? There is no denying that that is cool. And then it should stop around about here. Nice. Okay, so the legs are also in place, so they are level with the floor. So if you imagine the whole thing now moves upwards, leaving the legs in place, it's going to look awesome. But for the time being, let's wind this thing back down to the bottom, and let's do it nice and quickly. Excellent. And just to be clear, I'm only using these creative motors while testing. I am actually going to hook this thing up to something proper in a bit. It just allows me to keep my mind a tiny bit clearer. Anyway, I've got these things now connected. Now I just need to do the redstone sequencing for them. So on the up, we need to retract this pulley, then we need to fire all of these sticky things, and then we need to fire this piston, and then on the way back to it being a house, we want to fire this piston, then fire all of these sticky things, and then do the pulley. And this redstone circuit right here should deal with the pulleys and the pistons. So if I do this, pulley goes, and then once the pulley reaches the top, this redstone will eventually turn off, and that will change the direction of our mechanical piston. That's good. So then this gives that a chance to go, and then we wait, and then the pulley goes down. Okay, I can definitely speed things up, but this is good. Right, let's see if these redstone senders and receivers are working. Okay, so I've just powered that one over there, and it has just powered these things over here, and then if I remove this, they have all unpowered. This is fantastic. So here comes the moment of truth. I am both excited and nervous at the same time. So flicking the lever, our head has appeared, and that's about it. Well, what's gone wrong? Honestly, I couldn't tell you what's gone wrong. I have no idea. I mean... No? Why does that suddenly not work? Is it to do with these? Is it to do with our head? I've just done some moving around of things. Oh. Oh no. Oh no, it is to do with the head. We have movement in the right direction. I'm sorry, dude. This looks incredibly painful. 1 hour later, this is where we're currently at. It's not going well. It's almost as if the game is toying with me at this point. But after some minor tweaks to the redstone, this thing is working just as I imagined it would. And it looks just as stupid as I thought it would as well. I mean, the create mod I don't even know how to describe the contraptions that you can make with the create mod, but they're just fantastic to watch. I mean, the urge to just give them little arms like this is high. It is high, but I think we should do something potentially better. Something like this definitely makes sense. Just how on earth are we going to get them there? That is the question. I kind of want this to be an extra part of the animation. I don't want them to pop up with the rest of the build. But that definitely amplifies the already difficult difficulty. Having literally wandered around my house for the best part of an hour, just not knowing what to do with myself. One potential option is to make use of minecarts. Now, I'm incredibly curious here. Is there any way... I don't know if I can break this minecart contraption. Because if I break this, I actually get the minecart contraption in my inventory. And I so wish I could do that making use of these things. I don't think it does it. What if I increase the speed a little bit? Okay, it looks like it's shaking the minecart at least. There's no evidence of it actually being broken. Another few hours of aimless wandering, and I've come up with an idea. We can make the arms pop up through the ground behind this robot thing, and then once they've got into position, they can then do a full 180-degree rotation coming from the back into the front. It will look very Transformer-esque. And to do this, we're going to make use of mechanical bearings that are in the only place near initial angle movement mode, which means that if we just chuck a little motor down at the bottom here, you can see this thing rotates round, and when I stop it, it stays as an entity. It can be stuck in blocks, it can do whatever we want because it's an entity, but then when it goes back to its initial position, it will snap, and now these are actual blocks. Incredibly, incredibly useful. So that all works in theory. Let's see if it works in practice. Okay, it's rotated, and it has stopped. That is good. That is good. Now, if I power this thing, remove this block, and then power this thing again, it should spin around and then lock him to position. Yes, we are on to a winner. However, I have just realised I made the assumption that I would be able to push it in this state with a mechanical piston. And I can't. As I'm sure you all guessed, many hours of wandering, I've put far too much time into a build as stupid as this, but I am committed. I will make this thing function. New plan. I have now changed the movement mode of the mechanical bearing, so now it stops on the angle that it's closest to. So I've got this sequence gear shift set up for it to do 180-degree turns, which means that we can switch this thing around and flip it about so that it goes behind our robot and then flips around to be at the front of the robot. But the important thing is it stops on either end, which means it turns it into pushable blocks. We can actually move these things around. Yes, my idea is working. Things are functioning, bits are being moved about. This is hugely positive. Also, using these glass panes as the pivot makes an almost invisible pivot point. It honestly looks like this thing is flying upwards. This is going to look pretty meaningless to about 99% of you, but this right here, this action means that the system is now actually all done. Like, it's working. It should be ready to deploy and ready to test out. And I gotta say, I am finally starting to use these a lot more often in my circuits. It took me a little while to get used to them because obviously, you know, I'm a bit of a redstone boy myself. Wireless redstone is not something that I'm particularly familiar with. I'm much more familiar with connecting things manually. But man, oh man, is it ridiculously useful. Like, it's insane. Don't mind me, I'm just being an absolute genius. Give me a second. I need to get this to stop in the perfect position so it covers up our hole. And that could be more difficult than I imagined, but that was close. Oh, yes. Look at that. So this is a hole in the floor. Okay, and you would not be able to tell. Can you walk on this stuff? You can even walk on it, but you travel a little bit faster. Now that should allow these arms right here to just seamlessly drop through the floor without the need of extra piston mechanics and things. At least, that is what I'm hoping. With everything all done and dusted, let's give this thing a test. So here is our little dirt hut. I have to say I'm quite happy with the design of this thing. You know, I decided to be a little bit innovative, and I've added rounded corners to it. I've been building dirt huts since 2010, so I thought I'd try something a bit different. But of course, it works like all dirt huts do. We've got ourselves a little wooden door, and then on the inside, I mean, we don't have a whole lot. We do have a stone slab floor, though, which is a bit of an interesting choice. So as a dirt hut, I think we can all agree that it's not the most interesting thing in the world. What makes it interesting is this lever right here that I'm very scared to flick. Many hours have built up to this moment, so here goes. Okay. Oh my goodness. Is that not the greatest thing in the history of mankind ever? Okay, so we have transformed the dirt hut. The dirt hut is now a robot. We have got a full transformer dirt hut. This is fantastic, right? And then if I flick this lever here, in theory, it should return back to being a dirt hut, and it does it in start. That is the coolest thing in the world. I wasn't expecting the arms to hide themselves quite that well, but that is amazing. This is absolutely incredible. Utterly pointless. It's so stupid. But it is the best. It is literally the best. This might be one of the cool things I've ever it just might be the coolest thing I've ever created in Minecraft. I'm going to do it again. I can't help myself. Man, those arms really are the icing on the cake, aren't they? They really sell the fact that this is a transformer. Look at this thing. I mean, there's a little bit of mechanical action going on out the back, but to be honest with you, it's pretty clean cut, isn't it? All of this is possible in survival. You could do this in survival mode. This could be your base, which is both hilarious and pointless at the same time, but I'm leaning towards hilarious. I am so happy that this has worked out how I imagined it would. I mean, just look at this thing go. I mean, seriously. I don't know how many times I'm going to flick that lever today, but it's going to be far more than I probably should do as an adult person. I'm just going to do this and then stand back and giggle. Alright, well, there we go. The Dirt Hut Transformer is all complete. I hope that you've enjoyed this Minecraft Create video. I like to say that the next video I make won't be on the Create mod, but let's be real. You know, if I'm making things like this, it's definitely going to be, you know, it only takes me coming up with another stupid idea, and I'll be straight back on Create, because Create is perfect for absolutely silly ideas. This is definitely one of the silliest, but also one of the weirdly best executed. Alright, see you later. Now, to round things up today, I want to mention that I have finally fixed my audio issues. Now, Did I accidentally set the gain too high on my microphone at the start of this recording and keep clipping things? Yes, I did. But now that I fixed that, everything sounds so crisp and clear and lovely. I am so happy because this has plagued me for like 2 years, 3 years.